Hi crafters, Raquel here. Welcome to ScrapbookPal.com. Today I'm coming along with some items from Pinkfresh Studio. This is the Trailing Grace collection. It is really beautiful and very delicate. It comes with its matching stencil collection. So I'll be focusing on these two items today. And just to let you know, the stencils will allow you to color your paper, and what you can do is start there. Then use the die to cut the elements out of the background. So one thing I want you to notice is that these stencils do come numbered, so you know exactly what it is that you're coloring. And you can see the images very clearly. You can also see through the stencil so that you know exactly where you're placing your little images. And then when you cut it, they're all going to cut out individually. But these are really nicely labeled. And the other thing that I'll be doing today is I'm going to be pairing these with the Room for Joy collection, also from Pinkfresh Studio. I fell in love with these sentiments. There are 8 in total, and they're very encouraging, and they do come with matching dies. So if you like to cut those out of the background, you'll be able to do that. This packaging also comes with its own magnet so that you can stay nice and organized, and I love that about Pinkfresh Studio. And by the way, the back of the packaging lets you know who designed it and also which matching items are available. So I think that's absolutely fabulous also. So now starting with the supplies I'll be using as far as coloring, I will be using some interference inks, the stencils, white cardstock, and as you can see on my table, I also have a tiny blending tool and some brushes. But what's more important is the surface onto which you use the stencils. I think it's really nice to have something like this. This is a media mat and it's nice and grippy, meaning that whatever you place on it is not really easily going to move around. So I highly recommend that. And I just keep it on my stamp platform, and I take advantage, of course, of the magnets as well. But once you have your piece of cardstock, then you can go ahead and start with stencil number 1. And here you see 3 little triangles. Those are going to be really important because, again, as you switch over to the second and third stencil, you're going to want to know exactly where to place them, and that is going to be your guide. So I'm going to start with the Lisa Horton Interference ink in Ripe Mango. These are interference inks, which mean that you can add a little sprinkle of water or any other medium and they will react, and then the color will change similar to what's on the label of that ink, which is a lot of fun. The other thing is that they are a shimmer ink, and when I'm done coloring, you're going to be able to see that. They have a really beautiful saturation, so you use as much or as little as you like, as you can see here. And what I'll be doing is using the daubers so that I can focus more on the smaller areas, and then revisiting the same stencil, number 1. I'm now going in with Sapphire Gold Shimmer, and I apologize for the shake in my video there, but I'm not switching out the stencil immediately, and you'll see why. Here I have 2 different colors, but if you look at the labels on the inks, you're going to notice that they're quite similar. It's almost like they're opposite of one another. And here what I'm doing is taking a baby wipe to clean off the stencil, but I'm purposely also going over the images so that I get that reaction that I was talking about. And so those leaves, which started out looking very orange or yellow, are now going to have a hint of green as well. And of course, this is going to look better as it dries, but here is stencil number 2. And here again, you're able to see through it, but here's what you focus on is the 3 little triangles. And what I'm doing is using the ink left over on the dauber first. I always like to do that. And then I can always color a little bit darker. So I will go in and add a little bit more, and then I'm also going to be using Cherry Bomb Shimmer. So that's going to be a red that turns into a little bit of a burgundy, depending on how much water or other mediums you use to create the reaction. So here I'm already on stencil number 3, and this is the one with the little blooms. And if you would like to, if you don't want to be coloring so intensely on your images, you can also use the stencil as a little bit of a drop point there where you apply your ink and then pick up from there if you would like to. So that way, if you tend to be heavy-handed, that's also a little way in which you can prevent that. So once you're happy with your application, of course, if you want to mix and match the colors that you have used for your palette, of course you can do that. Now, if you're really, really worried about cross-contaminating your inks, you may want to use a brand new little dauber just for that. But what I've done is mix that kind of orange and the red there, and that's my result for the very first panel. So in a moment, I'm going to show you more, but I was so very happy with how these colors blend. So I went ahead and did 8 different panels, and I tried to switch it up, but there you get to see that shimmer in that ink. It's absolutely stunning, and it just creates such a happy, vibrant color combination. And they're all primary colors, so they're going to work very well together. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is reach back into my supplies for that Trailing Grace die. And what you'll notice that is unique about this die is that it also has the little triangles so that you can match up your image to that one piece. And I love how efficient this is, so that if you are batch making your cards, as I will be doing today, then you can just get out that die and cut out all of the little pieces that you had colored, and so long as you line these up, it's going to be super easy for you to run this through your die cutting machine. Then you can remove the background. There you see what that looks like. And you can also use a little stylus to help you out if you need to remove all of the little pieces from the background of that die. So you get to see how pretty those were. And now I'm prepping another piece of cardstock. This is just Nina white cardstock. I'm using an anti-static powder because I will be heat embossing the sentiments. So what I also like to do is, if I get a stamp set and I like all of the sentiments in that set, then why not take advantage and go ahead and stamp all of them at once. I'm using some intense black ink, and I'm just going to be using my stamp platform so that I can stamp these out the number of times that I need to get a nice clear image. So that's another tool that I highly recommend if you are card making. Don't frustrate yourself, just use a platform. So here I'm using some Lawn Fawn clear embossing powder, and I'm going to saturate all of the ink now with this powder. So if you've never done this before, it's probably one of the most satisfying things you can do when you're card making, is to emboss the ink, because then you get a really beautiful shine and it's practically effortless. The one tip that I will give you, however, is that embossing powder loves to fly around. So if you have any allergies or anything like that, just be mindful of that. And also, al always have a surface onto which you're going to allow that powder to drop, that will allow you to decant it right back into the jar. So that is the result before I apply heat. And here is going to be the result when I go ahead and use my heat tool to go ahead and heat emboss all of these. And this is why I like to do it this way. That way I'm not trying to heat emboss tiny pieces of paper. I prefer to do a larger background and then go ahead and die cut them from the background using the matching dies. I think it saves a little bit of paper as well. So if you're conscious of how much you waste, then I think that's a good way to go about it. There's my shiny little sentiments. And another thing you can do, by the way, with these items is that if you want to add any little highlights, you can definitely take a little white gel pen, as I have done here, and the die will cut into the paper with the little lines, if you will, that create the texture. So I think that's really pretty, and I just went ahead and added a couple of little lines here and there, nothing too serious. And depending on what you use, you might actually get a little more reaction out of the ink if it's still wet. So now we're going to move on to the assembly of the actual card. And by the way, those inks do get messy, so be prepared with some baby wipes to clean your hands. So here what I'm using is some Pinkfresh Studio ink. It is in the color Sapphire. and I'm going to be creating 4 1/4 inch square cards. Now, to create the mask that you see me using here, I did cut out another piece of white cardstock using the dotted fancy frames, and you can see there it shifted a tiny little bit, but that was of no consequence. I'm going in with a much larger brush this time, quite on purpose, because I'm trying to saturate the outer perimeter of that area there, as you can tell. And that's going to give me a bit of a focus that's a little bit off the edge of that card. Now, using those dotted frames, I also cut out one of the thin frames that I will be using to place the little floral elements onto the fronts of my cards. And so here's where you can have some fun. You can place these behind the frame, half of the floral element in front. You can create a little bit of a trellis look, or you can group them all together in one corner. It's really up to you. What I wanted to do was create a bit of white space so that the floral elements would really stand out, but still have that pop of color in the background. Now I'll be using my tweezers and my deluxe adhesive to go ahead and add tiny little drops onto that frame that is now going to lay on the front of the card. And what I'll do is I'll be lifting this frame a little bit here and there to accommodate the flowers so that they fit exactly as I would like them to. You don't need a lot of adhesive here, but the one thing that I will tell you is that depending on the ink that you're using, you may get a reaction of that ink with the adhesive water content, meaning that there is water in the adhesive, so be careful how much you move your papers around. And if you're like me and make mistakes, then just cover it up with a flower and no one will ever know. So I always like to be real when I show you my card making. I try not to take it too seriously. As you can see there, there's a little bit of that blue ink that went into the white space, but I'm not calling this a damaged card. What I do is that I just accommodate that to my creativity here using the little elements, so that way I do get the card result that I want and still be able to use the supplies. So here on the end, I did add a little bit more adhesive once I had those floral elements exactly where I wanted them. Then I did also plan out the little sentiment. I added a bit more of the floral elements, and these are all three of the ones that you can cut. But of course, depending on what you want to make, you can omit one of the leaves. You can cut these die cut pieces smaller, or just use one of the little blooms and not even use the leaf portion. So it's definitely all up to you. And in the end, you'll get to see how I just had some fun. I think this die set is really excellent, by the way. If you already have frames in your collections of dies, and you just need a little something extra to make it different. And maybe you're revisiting old dies, as I have done here today with the dotted fancy frames, then I highly recommend you get it, because this is going to allow you to just have a little something that's whimsical and playful, but still make a statement. So here I'm using some dimensional adhesive, and this is also found at ScrapbookPal. And what I love about these is that you can definitely cut them down. You can see the scissors there on my table. I tend to do that all the time and fit the size of the sentiment that I'm using. So that accommodates my crafting very well. And I like that you can also place this inside of an envelope and it will travel well without ruining your little elements that you may add to your card making. Now, one more thing that you may have in your stash of goodies for crafting is crystal glaze, or maybe a Nouveau drop, or maybe some little gems. What I'm doing is adding some crystal glaze. Now, this does dry clear, but because I'm using water reactive ink, then I decided that this would be a really fun way to just have some of the little areas stand out. Now, my ink had dried on the background before I applied these, so I didn't get a whole lot of reaction, but the shimmer was enough. I was quite pleased. And here you get to see how many different cards. I did use all 8 of the sentiments, so I created 8 different cards and just had some fun making sure that I used all of the different floral pieces, and I didn't use all of the leaves, but I was still quite happy with the results. I hope that you like this as well. Don't forget that for all of the supplies there are not only links here, but also a full blog post for you that you can go ahead and read if you want to just focus on the different items that I've used today. And of course, if you're new here, we invite you to subscribe for more crafty ideas. I have enjoyed this thoroughly. I hope you have as well. And as I always say, I do hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching.